Now on WKRG News 5.
Today is a News 5 weather alert day for the chance for potentially strong and also potentially severe thunderstorms. We'll have a full breakdown coming up in your forecast in just a few minutes.
We have been looking for each other our whole life.
The fiancé of a man killed in a motorcycle wreck talks with News 5 about the loss of her soulmate.
Plus, a candlelight vigil tonight for a local high school basketball coach killed in a wreck. A live report straight ahead.
And what do Alabamians think of President Donald Trump? Has anything changed? What our exclusive News 5 strategy poll reveals.
From WKRG News 5, the Gulf Coast news leader, the news starts now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mel Showers.
And I'm Roseanne Haven. First on 5, it is a weather alert day on the Gulf Coast.
And strong thunderstorms are set to sweep through our area very late tonight.
For a first look at your forecast, we go to meteorologist Thomas Gieboy in tonight for Chief Meteorologist Alan Seals.
Yeah, guys, tonight there is the chance for some stronger thunderstorms, so it's not going to be throughout the first half of tonight. It's going to be later on during the overnight hours and into the first portion of tomorrow morning. So that's why we have designated today a News 5 weather alert day. So we're trying to make sure you are prepared before this threat does arrive. Looking at the radar now, everything relatively nice and quiet. You wouldn't think more thunderstorms would move in. We saw one shower in Santa Rosa and Okaloosa County, and that has since fizzled out. But let's go ahead and time things out on our forecast. So as we go throughout the first half of tonight, things going to be relatively tranquil. But as we go through around 9:30 tonight, we'll see more of the clouds continue to move in, and then we'll start to watch for the chance past midnight tonight for showers and then thunderstorms to move in. So this is going to occur when most people are sleeping. So have a way to stay alert throughout tonight and also throughout the morning hours. So this moves through the News 5 area all the way through the morning hours, then gets out of here by noon tomorrow. But as we go throughout your Saturday, there might be a secondary wave of severe weather that might come in, but we'll have all those details and more coming up in the forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you very much, Thomas. A motorcyclist killed in a crash in Fairhope was recently engaged. And he just found out he was going to be the father of twins. Patrick Waits died early Wednesday when he lost control of his bike on Fairhope Avenue. News 5's Pat Peterson talked to Patrick's fiancée about losing the man she says was her soulmate.
Patrick Waits was Tisha Elmore's knight in shining armor.
It felt so good to be held by him. I protected. I felt safe.
The couple met at work.
He followed me around.
Patrick pampered and spoiled the love of his life.
I'd come home and find jewelry hid weird places like the freezer. There would be my favorite ice cream and a jewelry box in there.
Patrick proposed on Christmas Eve.
We have been looking for each other our whole life.
And last week the couple found out they were having twins.
Oh my gosh, we were so happy.
But the couple's fairy tale future came to a tragic end when Patrick did not come home from work while on the night shift.
The last text I got from him was about 1:40. He sent me a song.
Tisha's last text to her fiancé is chilling and heartbreaking. Patrick had lost control of his motorcycle on Fairhope Avenue near the pier. The 24-year-old died on the scene. A dense fog advisory was posted at the time of the crash.
I started screaming. I was like, no. You know, like if we're not going to a hospital, then he's gone. So. We were consumed in each other's lives. Everything. I was so spoiled.
Tisha and the rest of Patrick's family will lay him to rest this weekend.
And I think what I'm going to miss the most is I wanted to see him with his kids. I mean, I wanted it so bad. He was going to be such a great father.
The pain Patrick's loved ones are dealing with is unimaginable. On the Baldwin County beat, Pat Peterson, News 5.
Patrick Waits' family had set up a GoFundMe account to help pay for the twins' expenses once they're born. You can find a link to that account on our website, WKRG.com. Lots of pomp and circumstance this morning in Washington, D.C. for the inauguration of the 45th President of the United States. Donald J. Trump was sworn in at noon at the front of the Capitol building, while thousands look on from the mall. Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts administered the oath of office. New First Lady Melania Trump and his 5 children were by his side.
Some students here in Mobile had the chance to watch President Trump's inauguration. Sixth graders at St. Ignatius watched it live. Students there actually held a mock election. The older students voted on the candidates where they tell us Trump won. Meanwhile, the younger kids voted on cookies, Oreos versus chocolate chip cookies, we're told, and the Oreos won that election. But on a serious note, we talked with one 8th grader really excited about this year because it's the first election and inauguration she'll remember. And she's been keeping up with Trump's policies and tells us what she thinks of now President Trump.
Some of his policies I didn't agree with, but I do hope he changes some of his ideas. But other than that, I think, his idea of like being pro-life, and I think that's wonderful.
After the inauguration, we asked students if they wanted to someday have a career in politics. They all told us no.
And of course, Donald Trump is extremely popular in Alabama, where he won easily in November. But have opinions changed since then? And what do Alabamians think about the political division in our country as Donald Trump takes office? Here's Peter Albrecht with the results from our latest News 5 strategy poll.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
As Donald Trump takes the oath of office, more people in Alabama feel better about him becoming president than they did on Election Day when he captured 62% of the state's votes. Our Strategy Research News 5 poll shows 55% of Alabamians feel better about Trump now than they did on Election Day. Among Republicans, the figure is even higher, with more than 3 out of 4, 76%, saying they like Trump better now than they did in November. Our pollster, John Gray, believes Trump has solidified himself in the last 2 months with conservatives.
But Donald Trump as a candidate rarely talked about policy. It was always bravado. It was always ego, and I'm going to win, and this is huge. The president-elect Donald Trump, we've heard a lot of policy. If you look at just the appointments in his cabinet, these are over-the-top dreams for core Republicans. You are talking some really conservative picks here that nobody dreamed would ever be reality. I think Republicans are seeing a bit of excitement in terms of what he's delivering on the policy front. Maybe, Pete, because he never talked policy before.
Not surprisingly, among Democrats, 64% have worse feelings about Trump today than they did on Election Day.
The Democrats are having a bit of reality shock. Oh my gosh, this is actually happening.
Democrats and Republicans in Alabama agree on one thing, that the nation is more divided now than on Election Day. 53% say the nation has gotten more divided since November 8th. Of those whose feelings about Donald Trump have worsened since November, 77% feel the nation has become more divided in that time. And even among those who feel better about the president now than on Election Day, 45% say the country is more divided.
It is based on Trump's personality. It's based on division of issues. It's based on we lost. It's based on we won. It's based on Republicans' 8 years of surviving Obama policies.
And Gray points out that division is seen in the fact that Donald Trump enters office with the lowest approval rating of any president in history. Peter Albrecht, News 5.
Our poll was conducted by phone statewide, with about 2,500 people responding. It has a margin of error of 3%.
And coming up on News 5 at 6 o'clock, a local couple busted, accused of breaking into several cars at apartment complexes in Baldwin County.
Plus, a program in Mobile is teaching high school students how to interact with police. News 5 at 6 o'clock. We'll be right back.
Everybody's mornings are different. But we all need to know one thing. What's going on in our community?
As you're waking up this morning, we have new information from overnight.
Watch News 5 this morning starting at 4:30. Get top stories from overnight.
New information you need to know as you head out to work this morning.
Weather to plan your day.
It's a great day to be outside.
Checking out the Bayway for you.
And traffic to see if you need to take the long way. Because no matter what your day looks like, mornings matter.
Start 2017 right with our New Year's resolution at Spring Hill Toyota. Sign and drive a new 2017 Camry SE for just $299 a month. 0 down, 0 due at signing, 0 payments for 30 days. Make our New Year's resolution yours now at springhilltoyota.com.
Sometimes big truck wrecks can result in big case settlements. These are just some of the big results I've fought to get my clients. Call me. It's just that easy.
Andy wins. Call 888-8888. Due to the overwhelming response, J&J Furniture's huge warehouse sale is extended through Monday. Everything is marked down to warehouse prices, up to 80% off. Shop early, quantities are limited. It all ends Monday at J&J Furniture and Mattress.
New Year's resolution, Sue? I'm getting the whole house organized. And the sales saved me hundreds. You? Started with the garage. But these are gonna be great. Yeah.
Your GMC dealer has a better way to start off the new year. Celebrate the new year with a new GMC. Current lessees switch to GMC and get this low-mileage lease on this brand-new 2017 Acadia SLE1 for around $299 per month with $349 due at signing.
If you have questions about your accident, the consultation is free, and you don't pay us unless we're successful. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Start 2017 right with our New Year's resolution at Spring Hill Toyota. Sign and drive a new 2017 RAV4 LE, just $319 a month. With 0 down, 0 due at signing, and 0 payments for 30 days. Come on over to Spring Hill Toyota, located off I-65 and Government Boulevard.
Welcome back to News 5 at 6 o'clock. Staff and students at Spanish Fort High School have come together to remember a coach and teacher killed in a wreck last night on I-65. There's a candlelight vigil for Thad Akins tonight. Akins coached girls basketball. News 5's Alan Carter joins us now live from the vigil with more. Alan.
Well, Roseanne, that vigil just getting ready to begin. A very emotional night here in Spanish Fort because Thad Akins was a beloved coach, and I don't know if you can see behind me, but they are getting ready to begin here. That circle there, those are the players that Akins coached. He was a girls basketball coach here at Spanish Fort High School, but had been with the system for nearly 20 years. Well known here because he had coached at multiple schools in Alberta, Foley, Gulf Shores, and Daphne. So at this time, the players are getting ready to say a couple of words, but there are well over 100 students here who are also here to show their support for the family of Thad Akins, who was a very popular man and well loved here at Spanish Fort. For now, live in Spanish Fort, Alan Carter, News 5.
Thank you, Alan. A couple in Silver Hill is in jail tonight after Daphne police say they were caught almost red-handed breaking into cars. News 5's Debbie Williams has that story on the Baldwin County beat.
It was about 2 o'clock in the morning when police got a call to this apartment complex, and that was the beginning of the end for a couple that are now charged with stealing from cars. Jay Bailey Jr. and Caitlin Welch are behind bars after police say they were caught with a carload of property taken from unlocked cars at Arbors by the Bay and Lakeview Loop in Lake Forest. An observant resident at the complex tipped off police.
Our patrol officers got there. They had a short foot chase. And when they caught the guy who was identified as Mr. Bailey, he had almost made it back to his vehicle, and that's where they encountered the young lady who was driving, and the vehicle was, had stolen property in it along with their child.
Police recovered things like tools, cash, electronics. The Silver Hill couple are charged with breaking and entering, reckless endangerment, possession of drugs, and drug paraphernalia. The couple's 16-month-old infant was turned over to relatives. On the Baldwin County beat in Daphne, Debbie Williams, News 5.
Some local students are going through role-playing scenarios with police officers to learn how to better interact with law enforcement. This is a local program that's gone national. I'm Devin Walsh. I'll tell you about it coming up in my What's Working report.
Family Feud etiquette.
Let's get it on.
Always share your enthusiasm.
We got a good one for you today. This gonna be so good.
Weekdays at 4 on WKRG News 5.
Wow, that's a Chevy.
The most awarded lineup in the industry has people at a loss for words. Well, almost.
Wow, are you kidding me?
Wow, this is it.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Experience the wow factor. Take home an award-winning Chevy today.
Get $2,500 total cash allowance on this Chevy Cruze. Or current qualified lessees can sign and drive this Chevy Cruze for around $157 a month. See your Gulf Coast Chevy dealers.
We can all agree smoked pork is the greatest food there's ever been. Now, whether pulled or sliced is better, that's up to you to decide.
There's nothing better than Sonny's original sliced pork.
No way, man. It's definitely pulled pork.
Come try a new pork plate at Sonny's starting at $7.99. Pulled or sliced pork with either more pork, ribs, or ribs and smoked wings. Then cast your vote online for a shot at a free pork sandwich. Sonny's Barbecue, local pit masters since '68.
I'm Peter Albrecht. Get your Pensacola news 1 hour earlier weeknights on the CW55 News at 9. Your new choice for news in Pensacola.
At Palmer's Toyota Superstore, we make it fun. We make it custom. We make it easy. We make it better. And best of all, at Palmer's Toyota Superstore, we make it affordable. Drive the all-new redesigned 2017 Corolla for one low pay price of $95.68. Drive new 2017 Camrys for one low pay price of $12,418. Palmer's Toyota Superstore, your Gulf Coast family store.
The holidays are over, Sarah. 2017 is in full swing.
That's right, Tom, and we have some clearing out to do.
Floor samples, Sarah, unclaimed special orders, and other beautiful furniture items that need new homes.
To help, we have taken special additional discounts off our lowest price on a ton of selected items throughout the store.
That's right, Sarah. The holidays may be over, but the gifts keep coming at Barrows, the best place to buy furniture for 60 years.
Mobile, Pensacola, Flomaton, Dothan, and Andalusia.
At Mobile Bay Harley-Davidson, we want to buy your motorcycle. Bring yours in today.
In tonight's What's Working, a program that started right here in Mobile has gone national. It's called Bridging the Gap. It's a way for teenagers to better understand law enforcement.
News 5's Devin Walsh went to the Mobile Police shooting range as these teenagers were put through real-life situations they may encounter with police.
It's an action-packed day for students at Citronelle High School.
Mobile Police Department.
They're being put through real-life scenarios.
Come over here. Step up. What's going on?
That officers encounter every day.
Put a finger in the sky.
They start with a traffic stop, with music blaring.
Roll the window down. Turn your radio down.
Roll the window down.
Teens inside a car.
Put your hands up, both of you. Put your hands up on the back of the seat.
Are shown how to act.
The back of the seat. On the back of the seat, man.
When they're pulled over.
It's a frightening moment when you get pulled over, even when you see blue lights behind you. You don't know if it's you that they want to pull over, and when you do, it's like, oh my God.
The teens say they appreciate learning what an officer expects.
You don't need to talk back because they'll pull you over and just put you on the car and ask you questions and put you in handcuffs. One thing not to get smart with an officer. Always follow his directions.
The Bridging the Gap program was started here in Mobile by U.S. Attorney Kenyon Brown. And in just a year and a half, it's gone national.
Keep your hands out of your pocket, please.
By making teens act out scenarios, they learn how to deal with police.
Many times they come in with their arms folded, not expecting to learn too much. They're kind of forced to be here by their school, but they often leave with a renewed understanding for law enforcement.
Many of the students tell me this program has been beneficial because this is the first time they've had a chance to ask an officer anything they want. And most of the information they've received about police until now has been either on the news or in the movies.
This is the first time I've ever really been interactive with police work or what they do or how they feel about things.
All right, man, step out, face away from me.
The Bridging the Gap program is only a few hours long.
Give me your other arm.
But by the end of all the action,
You actually want to be a police officer?
Yes, ma'am.
the teens say they walk away with more of a respect for the dangerous work officers do every day. For What's Working, I'm Devin Walsh.
That's what it's all about, going home at the end of the day.
News 5.
Now, Thomas Keyboy with your first alert weather.
Well, today is a News 5 weather alert day for the chance of strong to potentially severe thunderstorms later on tonight, and also maybe a secondary round of severe weather Saturday night into Sunday. So a lot to get to. Let's go ahead and begin to break it down. Looking at the southeast right now, things are relatively quiet. There are a couple of thunderstorms in the northern Gulf of Mexico. Those aren't what will be causing our potential severe weather tonight. You can even see it on the left-hand portion of your screen near Houston, starting to see an organization of some thunderstorms, and they will be moving our way over the coming hours. So this is going through our forecast. So this is tonight at 10 p.m. Things across the central Gulf Coast still relatively quiet around 10 p.m. But once we get closer to midnight, that's when we'll start to see the chance for scattered showers and also thunderstorms. 2 a.m., showers and thunderstorms approaching our Mississippi counties, and then it'll continue to unfold from there, moving into the Mobile area anywhere from around 3 a.m. to around 6 a.m. So this is going to be an overnight and early morning event. So have a way to stay up to date and have a way to stay weather aware as we move throughout the overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. Then from there, continuing to progress through the Florida Panhandle, getting out of here most likely around your lunchtime. So things quiet down by the time we get to your lunchtime tomorrow. But as we go from Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening, there will be another chance for maybe seeing isolated severe thunderstorms, and then even more so Sunday morning, maybe another round first thing Sunday morning. So the next 36 hours, we will have a good chance for seeing severe weather along the central Gulf Coast, so you want to make sure that you stay weather aware. So the severe risk overnight tonight, over towards the eastern half of the Panhandle, we'll see marginal risk, slight risk for most of our Alabama counties, and then all of our Mississippi counties are included in this enhanced risk. So you look at tomorrow's severe risk. So this is from Saturday night into Sunday. Much of the News 5 area in the Alabama counties will be under that slight risk, and then the Panhandle and Baldwin County tomorrow are included in that enhanced risk. So all of these have a place on the severe weather outlook totem pole. Marginal risk is the lowest risk, and then we go up from there. Enhanced risk is right in the middle, but it does mean that severe weather is likely and that you want to be alert as you move throughout the day. So as for tonight, there's a 90% chance that you are going to need an umbrella, but past midnight tonight, you're going to want our WKRG News 5 free weather app or a NOAA weather radio to stay up to date on what's going on, so you can be alerted if we do have severe thunderstorms that do move into our area. So I can't emphasize enough, be alert throughout tonight and also into Saturday and then Sunday morning as well. Then we see rain chances go down throughout the day on Sunday, down to 10% on your Monday. And look at that. Finally, a cool down will be on the way. Very brief, though, as we warm up by Wednesday. Then another shot of cool air, and winter will be back by next weekend.
Thank you, Thomas. It's time now for sports. And here's Randy Patrick.
All right, since it feels like baseball weather, I'm going to have a baseball story for you coming up.
Randy.
The Bay Bears have announced their coaching staff for the 2017 Southern League baseball season. And we've got a lot of football to talk about. Yeah, that's 365, right? The state of Alabama looking ahead to Julio Jones and the Falcons' big game coming up in the NFC title game. And maybe Sammy Coates of Leroy, Alabama will catch a touchdown pass in the AFC championship game. Stay tuned.
Gulf Coast Office Products. Over 20 years of quality service.
Cayenne red pepper, cumin, paprika. Played to perfection in Beef O'Brady's new Nashville Hot lineup, including Nashville Hot Wings. Legendary flavor cranked up Nashville style. Get $5 off at beefobradys.com.
When AutoNation has savings this big, you'd better get it fast. Save now on a brand new 2016 Honda CR-V LX for only $159 a month at AutoNation Honda Bel Air Mall.
Change it up with fresh new looks and the latest styles for your home. We've put together everything you love about living near the water in my newest coastal collections at Rooms to Go. Our top quality leather, comfortable fabrics, rich woods, and bold colors are perfect for the way you live today. Come see my newest coastal collections, exclusively at Rooms to Go.
Now is the time to buy at Eastern Shore Toyota. Choose from over 17 acres of new Toyotas, all backed by our nationwide lifetime warranty. Unlimited time and miles, no extra cost. Now, drive a new Prius or Avalon Hybrid, your choice, with 0% financing available. That's right, 0% financing. Shop Eastern Shore Toyota, passionate for customer satisfaction.
Yes, I'm a smoker. And yes, I'm aware I should quit. I get pressure from everyone I love and everything around me.
Smoking is really, really bad for you.
Yet sometimes that pressure alone is enough to make me want to light up.
Quit your way with Tobacco-Free Florida. With free patches, text messaging, emails, phone, group, and web coaching. Call or visit tobaccofreeflorida.com.
You've done all the gift giving lately. Now it's your turn. Stop by Bay today and find the vehicle that's just right for you.
Like the 2017 Equinox, discounts up to $4,700 or priced as low as $20,295. Or the 2016 Chevy Silverado Double Cab, discounts up to $11,000 at Bay or priced as low as $33,960. Shop now at baychevy.com.
It's more than a deal, it's the way you feel. Bay Chevrolet.
Beef O'Brady's all-new premium blend Angus burger. 3 times the premium. Crafted from chuck brisket and short rib. Finished with a toasted brioche bun. Premium? Yes. Pricey? Nope. Get $5 off at beefobradys.com.
Now, Randy Patrick with News 5 Sports.
The Mobile Bay Bears have a new Major League affiliation with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Today, the Angels announced the 2017 Bay Bears coaching staff that will be coming to Mobile. Sal Fasano will be the manager of the Bay Bears. This is his first year as a coach in the Angels organization, his 7th season coaching overall. Sal had an 11-year career as a catcher in the big leagues. He spent the last 2 seasons as the Blue Jays pitching coordinator. Joining Fasano's staff this year will be hitting coach Ryan Barba and pitching coach Buddy Carlisle, who is a former Bay Bears pitcher. Senior Bowl All-Stars will be flying into Mobile the next few days. The All-Stars will go to work next Tuesday in front of NFL coaches and scouts with first practice. The Senior Bowl game is a week from tomorrow with a 1:30 kickoff on the NFL Network. We will be seeing many former Senior Bowl All-Stars in action Sunday in the NFL title games. The Falcons and Packers kick off the doubleheader starting at 2 o'clock in Atlanta. This will be the last NFL game at the Georgia Dome. The Georgia Dome, which is the only facility in the world to host the Olympics, Super Bowl, and Final Four, will be replaced by the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. By the way, Alabama and Florida State will open the college football season in the new stadium in Atlanta, September the 2nd. You can see the AFC Championship game right here on News 5. CBS has the telecast. It's set to start at 5:40. The Patriots are favored over the Steelers by 6 points in this one. Alabama and Auburn trying to play their way into the postseason in basketball. The two teams meet tomorrow in a big one in Auburn. The Crimson Tide has won 6 of its last 7 games and is coming off a big win over the Missouri Tigers. Bama 11-6 overall, 4-1 of the SEC. Auburn has 12 victories now, but is 2-4 in league play. Bruce Pearl would love to see his 501st career victory come tomorrow afternoon at home against the Crimson Tide. ESPN2 has the telecast of this game. It's scheduled to tip off at 3 o'clock. And the Jaguars will be in action on the road in a Sun Belt Conference game as they will play Little Rock, and they'll be playing at Arkansas State on Monday. So they're taking a road trip to Little Rock.
The state of Arkansas. I see the round mound of rebound along
Charles
with
Barkley.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you.
Coming up next on News 5 at 6:30, a community is remembering a local high school coach and teacher. Earlier in the newscast, we told you about Thad Akins. Akins died in a traffic crash last night traveling on I-65 near Montgomery. Today, News 5's Debbie Williams talked with friends and co-workers about the loss of Coach Akins. That's coming up straight ahead. Peter Albrecht will also be joining us.
Stay tuned.
Barrow's Restful Sleep Center. Rest your body and your wallet.
At Palmer's Hyundai, we work hard to get the car you want at the price you want.
Lease a 2017 Hyundai Elantra for $159 a month. Lease a 2017 Santa Fe Sport for $299 a month.
Hurry and get the car you want today at Palmer's Hyundai.
Are you feeling lucky? Join us at Palace Casino Resort. The Coast Best Buffet just got even better with special comp pricing in January. Every Monday through Thursday, enjoy a $6 lunch or $10 dinner buffet. And on Sundays, a $4 breakfast or $10 brunch or dinner buffet. Then, join us on Saturday, January 28th for our Winner Palooza $50,000 cash and Power Play giveaway. 80 winners will win $500 in Power Play, and 10 winners will win $1,000 in cash. Palace Casino Resort. Let a little luck rub off on you.
1977, Disco, Bell Bottoms, and Ford F-Series starts its epic run as the best-selling trucks in America. 2017, F-Series is still king for 40 straight years. Why? Rock-solid durability, up-to-the nanosecond technology, and jaw-dropping capability. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 40 straight years.
Now get 0% financing for 72 months plus $2,500 bonus cash plus $500 Ford credit bonus cash on F-150. Only at your local Ford dealer.
I was heading to the grocery store after I picked the kids up from school. I was in a wreck with my children. An 18-wheeler hit us. My name is Erica, and I'm from Mobile, Alabama. I am a single mom, a cashier, and the only person in my household for my kids. I knew I needed help, so I turned to attorney Alexander Shannara.
If you've been injured in an accident, contact the Alexander Shannara Gulf Coast team of attorneys.
Meet Suzanne. Her smile is always camera ready.
And Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama helps her keep it that way. Our dental coverage starts at $21 a month, and it comes with routine exams, cleanings, x-rays, and guaranteed coverage for everyone. Suzanne knows how important it is to take care of your smile, no matter what birthday you're celebrating. And so do we. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama. We cover what matters. Call 1-877-534-6302.
Start your New Year's off the right way with a great deal at Palmer's Hyundai.
Lease a 2017 Hyundai Tucson for $249 a month. Lease a 2017 Hyundai Sonata for $199 a month.
Hurry and get the car you want today at Palmer's Hyundai.
From WKRG News 5, the Gulf Coast news leader, the news starts now.
Students and teachers coming together tonight to remember a Spanish Fort basketball coach who died in a crash. Hi everyone, I'm Peter Albrecht. More on the Spanish Fort coach in just a second. But first tonight we need to talk about the weather. We could see some severe storms overnight. Right now, no rain, no clouds in sight, but that will soon change. News 5's Thomas Gieboy is tracking the weather for you tonight.
Yeah, don't let the calmness fool you right now, because over the next 12 to about 36 hours, we're not only under the gun for just one chance of severe weather, but potentially multiple rounds of severe weather. So through this weekend, it will be a weather alert day here at News 5. You want to stay weather alert as we go throughout the next couple of days throughout this weekend. So let's go ahead and time things out for you on our forecast. Things throughout the first half of tonight going to be relatively calm, relatively tranquil. Continue to see those clouds come in from the south, so it's going to feel warm and very muggy. So 9:30 tonight, things relatively quiet, but as we move towards midnight, that's when we'll start to see things really begin to increase. We'll increase in the cloudiness, and by 2 a.m. tonight, that's when we'll start to see those showers and also potentially stronger thunderstorms move into the News 5 area. So this is painting out tonight at 4 o'clock in the morning. You see those showers and thunderstorms moving through. We'll have a full breakdown on the threats and what you need to know coming up in the forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks very much, Thomas. Well, it's been a horrible day at one local high school where students and staff learned that a beloved coach and teacher was killed in a traffic accident last night south of Montgomery. The Spanish Fort High School girls basketball coach Thad Akins was killed when his SUV collided with an 18-wheeler. News 5's Debbie Williams is live in Spanish Fort tonight. Debbie, this was a man who made quite a difference in a lot of young people's lives.
He absolutely did, Pete, and I'm going to step out of the way because there's a prayer vigil going on right now in honor of Coach Akins here at the football field at the Hill here at Spanish Fort High School. They've been doing this prayer vigil for about half an hour now. We're hearing remembrances of Coach Akins and just some special memories there of a man who was passionate about his friends, his students, and his basketball team. A flag at half-staff.
I was a little bit in disbelief.
A campus in mourning.
He was a great friend.
For Spanish Fort High School Principal Brian Williamson, a difficult day that began with a phone call giving him the news that he would have to share with his staff and Coach Akins' team.
Definitely one of the tougher things that I've ever done, because you try to stay strong for everybody and to be a leader in a situation like that, but at the same time, I'm hurt and broken on the inside as well.
A family man who spent almost half of his life teaching and coaching.
I saw someone who wanted to make a difference in young people's lives, and he felt like not only in the classroom could he do that, but going that extra mile outside the classroom.
News 5 spoke with Coach Akins just a few months ago. This was his second year at Spanish Fort. He was excited about the new school year and continuing to build on a tradition of excellence in sports. His last game ended just a few hours before his death.
They had just won the game. He came over. I spent a couple of minutes, talked to him, and shook his hand, congratulated him, and he spoke to several other people, and then he hit the road.
His life's work was teaching, and Williamson says in this tragedy, there is also a lesson for us all.
It just kind of hits home that life is precious and life is short, and things can happen in an instant.
A couple hundred or more people are here at this prayer vigil. More are expected this weekend. A memorial service will be held at the gym here at Spanish Fort High School Sunday afternoon. Live on the Baldwin County beat in Spanish Fort, Debbie Williams, News 5.
And another traffic fatality in our area. This one happened this morning on Highway 90 in Tillman's Corner. Mobile police say the driver of the silver truck that you saw there died in the crash. Police have not identified that driver yet. The accident happened just before 7 o'clock this morning. A toddler will be okay after he was attacked by two dogs. Two English bulldogs hurt the 2-year-old boy near his home in Escambia County, Florida. The boy had cuts and bites on his face. The dogs belonged to a neighbor but were staying in the boy's yard. The owner of the dogs has surrendered them to animal control, and the dogs will be put down. The family and authorities are still trying to figure out how the toddler got inside the yard where the dogs were. New video tonight obtained by News 5 shows an explosion in Pensacola caught on camera. Haley Minogue was one of the first on the scene for this breaking news last night, and she has the latest.
3 of the city's 5 recycling trucks were destroyed last night in a fire. Investigators are still trying to figure out what exactly started it. Pensacola Assistant Fire Chief Greg Redding told us it might have been a lightning strike that started this fire.
In this video you'll only see on News 5, the explosion can be seen from almost 300 yards away. You can see where the fire was already burning, then flames shoot into the sky.
Earlier I used my cell phone to get a look inside the truck. I couldn't get myself or my camera in there, but you can see everything, and there is a complete loss.
Once the garbage trucks complete their routes, they'll join in with the recycling vehicles to help out on their routes. This will continue until we either find replacement vehicles, whether it be temporary or permanent.
Each one of these trucks cost the city $250,000. So last night, $750,000 went up in flames. The City of Pensacola Fire Department as well as the State Fire Marshal are currently investigating. We hope to bring you more information on their findings when it's made available. Reporting in Pensacola, I'm Haley Minogue, News 5.
Now, team coverage on the inauguration today of President Donald Trump. The president and the new First Lady, Melania, are getting ready to carry the celebration into the night. This is a live look at one of the ballrooms. The president is expected to attend a total of 3 inaugural balls tonight. 2 of them are open to the public, with tickets starting at $50 a person.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Of my ability. And Donald Trump officially took the oath of office in front of his family and the nation at noon today, becoming the nation's 45th president. He placed his hand on Abraham Lincoln's Bible. Hundreds of thousands of people braved some drizzly weather to watch the making of history. And protesters took to the streets of Washington today as well. At last count, 217 have ended up in jail. Now, this is the most dramatic video from the protests. A limo set on fire. Police had to push back the protesters so firefighters could get to the flames. Someone damaged the limo earlier in the day, knocking out windows. This scene was just a few blocks away from the parade route. Police officers in other areas of the city also had to use pepper spray to disperse crowds that got out of hand. 6 officers ended up being hurt. A lot of students today got to watch the inauguration and some of the festivities from their classrooms. Many have been spending the last few months learning about the election process. News 5's Ashley Knight was there at St. Ignatius School in Mobile to get the students' reactions.
Sitting in a 6th grade classroom, these students may not fully understand what today is all about.
It's kind of confusing.
But teachers have tried to help the younger ones understand the basics.
Earlier this year, we learned about the election process and the Electoral College and how that works.
We had a voting booth. We talked about, we've actually voted on cookies instead of people because it's easier for kids to understand. So we voted between chocolate chip cookies and Oreo cookies.
And by watching the inauguration today, these students are taking part in the political process.
Like how Trump said, like, America's going to be, like, strong again.
Even if they didn't like the messy election year we witnessed.
The candidates were fighting a lot, and it was back and forth.
Meanwhile, for the older students, this is an experience they won't forget.
And this is actually going to be one of the first inaugurations I will be able to remember. You know, I just think the whole process of electing a president and that it is our choice and that we are exercising our freedom is wonderful.
And while most of them found the whole thing very interesting, they weren't too eager to start thinking about a career in politics.
I don't think so. way too complicated.
At St. Ignatius in Mobile, Ashley Knight, News 5.
And up next on News 5, the new president has a new Twitter handle. Plus, Hillary Clinton tweets a message today. And we'll have some new information involving Samsung and the Galaxy 7 fires. The company says it has now pinpointed the cause of those fires.
Unclaimed freight notice this weekend at American Freight. Over 1,000 truckloads of living room furniture. 7-piece living room groups that include a sofa, love seat, coffee table, 2 end tables, and 2 designer lamps. You get all 7 pieces from only $398 complete. Free layaway till tax refund. Same-day delivery. Come to the loading docks this weekend only at American Freight in Pensacola at 4500 Mobile Highway and in Mobile at 3404 Moffett Road.
Our client Mike's world came apart when he was seriously burned in a factory accident in Baldwin County. Mike was in the hospital with mounting medical bills and no income. He called Long and Long for help. We recovered over $5 million for Mike and his family. We're a family-run law firm with family values. When injured in an accident, call us.
We help people like Mike every day.
Let us help you too.
Long and Long has helped thousands of people put their lives back together. When injured, call 432-HURT.
Eyeglass World salutes Justin, who not only remembered her half birthday, but also scored the best table at Giovanni's without even bribing the maitre d'. Not surprisingly, Justin is an Eyeglass World customer, where he gets all the expert advice he wants and his glasses the very same day for an incredibly low price. 2 pairs for just $78. Eyeglass World. See yourself smile. See yourself save.
You're watching WKRG News 5 at 6:30 with Peter Albrecht, Roseanne Haven, Chief Meteorologist Alan Seals, and Sports Director Randy Patrick.
Donald Trump and wife Melania have new Twitter handles.
Following his inauguration as the 45th President of the United States, Trump switched his account to @POTUS, President of the United States. Melania now tweets as @FLOTUS, First Lady of the U.S. The Obama administration handed over the Twitter handles at exactly 12:01 p.m. In an interview this week, Trump said he tweets because it's the best way to get his message directly to the people.
Hillary Clinton took to Twitter today during the inauguration, tweeting, "I'm here today to honor our democracy and its enduring values. I will never stop believing in our country and its future." She took part in the celebration as a former First Lady along with her husband, as well as former President George W. Bush and his wife, Laura. We may be learning more about what caused some of Samsung's Galaxy Note 7 smartphones to overheat and catch fire. According to the Wall Street Journal, an investigation found some of the batteries were the wrong size and others had manufacturing problems. On Monday, Samsung will outline the findings of an independent investigation.
The threat of severe weather has forced the Mobile Police Department to cancel its chili cook-off tomorrow. It was supposed to start at 8 in the morning at Cathedral Square, but we might be having some thunderstorms right about that time. Meteorologist Thomas Gieboy is tracking the weather threat.
In the first half of tonight, nice and quiet, but the chance for severe weather goes up later on tonight. We'll have a full breakdown coming up in the forecast in just a few minutes.
Everybody's mornings are different. But we all need to know one thing. What's going on in our community?
As you're waking up this morning, we have new information from overnight.
Watch News 5 this morning starting at 4:30. Get top stories from
New
overnight.
information you need to know as you head out to work this morning.
Weather to plan your day.
It's a great day to be outside.
Checking out the Bayway for you.
And traffic to see if you need to take the long way. Because no matter what your day looks like, mornings matter.
Now is the time to buy at Eastern Shore Toyota. Choose from over 17 acres of new Toyotas, all backed by our nationwide lifetime warranty. Now drive a new RAV4 or Sienna, your choice, with 0% financing available. Rush to Eastern Shore Toyota.
3, 2, 1, Wednesday. The coffee, the kids, the commute, the cubicles, the hot water heater. The hot water heater? Well, it is hump day, and it's not payday. It's between paychecks. There goes your budget. Wait. No, it doesn't. You know where to go. Advance America. You get the money you need in minutes. It's easy. It's fast. It's done. Hump? What hump? Huh? Money when you need it. Advance America. Power on.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. When our children were growing up, we had a saying, one for all and all for one. Now the 3 boys are lawyers in our firm. Today, those words still ring true. When you trust us at your time of need, please know you hire all of us. All for one. and that one is you. Oh, by the way, good news, I have 2 new grandsons on the way. I can hardly wait. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
It's fun for Sunday drivers at IP. You could win one of 4 Hyundai vehicles in the $175,000 Hyundai Sundays giveaway. Earn entries in January to win the Elantra January 8th, the Genesis on the 15th, the Tucson on the 22nd, and the Sonata on the 29th. Get 25 times entries Fridays and Saturdays to win a Hyundai on Sundays.
IP Casino Resort and Spa is fun for everyone.
Big things are happening at AutoNation, so I'm hitting the road to spread the word. And I have a wingman. Just like AutoNation, he's smart and fast. Sure you can keep up? I'll take that as a yes.
Hurry into AutoNation, where you can drive new Rams up to $13,000 off. Journeys or Cherokees up to $6,000 off during the Start Something New sales event. Drive pink, drive safe, drive now at AutoNation Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Meep, meep.
Now is the time to buy at Eastern Shore Toyota. Choose from over 17 acres of new Toyotas, all backed by our nationwide lifetime warranty. Now, drive a new Prius or Avalon Hybrid, your choice, with 0% financing available. Rush to Eastern Shore Toyota.
Welcome back to News 5 at 6:30. A college marching band from Alabama brought a smile and applause from the new president. Members of the Great Tornado Marching Band at Talladega College brought the president and vice president to their feet. The band received some criticism for accepting the invitation to march in the parade for President Trump's inauguration. People from all over the country donated money to the band so they could make the trip. The college raised more than $600,000.
We're joined now by John Gray, our political strategist from Strategy Research here in Mobile. And John, we ran a poll last night basically asking people how they feel about Donald Trump and the nation since Election Day and this kind of 2-month period we had with Mr. Trump as the president-elect. And the big takeaway is that people actually feel better about Donald Trump becoming president here in Alabama than they did on Election Day. Why do you think that is?
Well, Pete, during the election cycle, we saw a lot about Donald Trump's ego, his bravado. We were going to make huge changes in what we were going to do, and now we're actually seeing policy. We're seeing appointments to cabinet positions, and these cabinet leaders are having congressional testimony talking about what they want to do. To the American public, that looks like what Donald Trump wants to do. I think you're seeing a lot of Republicans say, this guy really does have some conservative bona fides. His agenda looks really strong.
And not surprising that Democrats feel much worse about the situation. They say 64% feel worse about Donald Trump becoming president now than they did on the night that he defeated Hillary Clinton.
For Democrats, it's the inverse. They didn't have any doubt that Donald Trump was going to come about and bring about these conservative changes to undo things like Obamacare and what Barack Obama has worked on for 8 years. They are now seeing this become a reality. Maybe they hoped it wasn't going to happen. They're now seeing these things start to take place, and they're scared.
And even 50% of independents feel better about Trump being president now than on Election Day. Then we asked about whether the country's become more divided since Election Day. And most people believe that, yes, indeed, it has. Even Republicans believe it's become more divided.
Well, Pete, in fact, we are sitting here talking about Democrats and Republicans and not just people. It's the way our country's become. It's not just today. This has been 10, 14, 20 years growing. It is worse today than it has ever been. The division of how we digest politics and how we interpret that on a Democrat, a red, a blue type platform, it's troubling.
And our poll shows that 68% of Democrats feel things have become more divided in the last 2 months. The independents, 58% feel it's become more divided, but even 45% of Republicans feel like things have become more divided, and we've had a lot of tough discourse. We've had protests and those kind of things.
Yeah, if you're a Republican, you're looking at the 60 plus that decided they didn't want to go to the inauguration. If you're a Democrat, you're hearing your friends and others who are beginning to protest, and of course, we're all watching social media. Everybody's got an opinion. Never before have we seen this. I mean, the water cooler could only hold 4 or 5 people to talk, and yet today, our water cooler is social media, and millions of people are putting their opinions out for everybody to see. We're all feeling that pressure right now. I think the next couple of weeks are going to give us a better barometer of where this country is going to go.
And John, tell us just briefly before we go here how these polls are conducted, who gets the calls, where, that kind of thing.
Well, they're randomly decided. We put out to a same voter list in Alabama throughout the state, and people who answer the phone call are given the opportunity to respond. We do not filter, we do not edit, we do not take one piece over another. This is just what the people in the state of Alabama feel about the questions we ask.
All right, John Gray with Strategy Research. Thanks very much, John.
Thanks, Pete.
Now, Thomas Geboy with your first alert weather.
Well, today is a News 5 weather alert day for not just one round of potential severe weather, but potentially up to 2 rounds of severe weather. So a lot to get to, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. Right now, the radar across the News 5 area, relatively calm and relatively tranquil. However, don't let that fool you, because as we expand this just a little bit, there are showers and thunderstorms in the northern Gulf of Mexico. That's not what we're watching. As you look over towards the west and you look towards Houston, those are those thunderstorms that are going to start moving our way, and those thunderstorms are what going to give us our chance for potentially severe weather as we move throughout tonight. So let's go ahead and play this forward. This is painting out tonight at 10 o'clock. See, everything throughout the first half of tonight, relatively quiet, but by 2 a.m., maybe a few strong thunderstorms out in front of this main line. But as that main line moves into the News 5 area, anywhere from around 2 a.m. to around 5 a.m., moving through our Mississippi and our western Alabama counties, you can see that large line of potentially stronger thunderstorms, maybe a few severe thunderstorm warnings in this, and also can't rule out the chance for isolated tornadoes as well. So this is going to be an overnight into the morning hours kind of event. So most people are going to be sleeping. Make sure that you have a way to stay informed as we go throughout tonight and also first thing tomorrow morning. Those showers and thunderstorms moving across our area throughout the Panhandle right around 8 o'clock for tomorrow. And then by noon, most of the thunderstorms get out of here. But we're not done with our severe weather potential just yet. As we go throughout the day on Saturday, maybe a few thunderstorms as we go throughout Saturday evening, but as we transition into Sunday morning, maybe another round of severe weather. So this is painting out 10 a.m. on Sunday morning, so maybe another chance for severe weather. So the next 36 hours going to be quite active across the Gulf of Mexico. So here's a breakdown of our severe weather risk tonight. Marginal risk for the eastern panhandle, slight risk for majority of our panhandle counties and also for our Alabama counties, and over towards our Mississippi counties, you see that enhanced risk. So that is just a little bit higher. And as we go into Saturday night into Sunday morning, kind of flip-flops. Panhandle of Florida is in that enhanced risk. Meanwhile, everyone in our Mississippi counties and majority of our Alabama counties are in that slight risk category. So what does that all mean? Well, there are about 6 different tiers on the severe weather outlook tier. So you see marginal risk, slight risk, and enhanced risk. That's right in the middle of the road, but it does mean severe weather is likely. So over the next 36 hours, can't stress enough, have a way to stay informed, whether it be a weather app or our News 5 free weather app or also a NOAA weather radio. So also dense fog advisory in place for tonight. Be careful if you're out on the roads before those storms get here, but stay alert throughout tonight and also into Sunday morning, but then finally cooling down into your Monday and also into your Tuesday, and then a good shot of winter comes in by next Friday.
All that rain on Sunday, a good day to watch football, and if you're a pro football fan, Randy, Sunday's your day with 2 great close games we expect.
I'm going to say it doesn't get any better than what we're going to see on Sunday. And I'll tell you, you talk about the history and the great teams of the NFL, and 3 out of the 4 that we're going to be seeing in the championship game certainly qualify for that. And how about this guy, Tom Brady, leading the New England Patriots to another AFC championship game. I think this is what, his 11th AFC title game. Unbelievable. So the Steelers will try to knock off the Patriots, and the Atlanta Falcons will try to take care of Aaron Rodgers. And the NFC Championship game in Atlanta, the last NFL game in the Georgia Dome. How about that?
How about that? With Billy hadn't been around that long, actually. And we've got a couple of locals we can root for this weekend, Randy.
Absolutely.
We've got Julio Jones playing for the Falcons. He's got that bad toe, but he's supposed to play.
Yeah, he actually practiced today, the first time this week, so they held him out. And he's a tough guy, and he's going to be on his game, you can bet, Sunday. And Sammy's Leroy Coates, who made a name for himself in the Senior Bowl a couple of years ago, and maybe Sammy can get a couple of touchdown passes for the Steelers, who are underdogs, as you might expect, for the game that you'll see right here starting at 5:40 on News 5 CBS as the AFC Championship game. The winners Sunday will play in the Super Bowl in Houston in a couple of weeks.
All right, and Sammy started off really hot, then he had some injuries, kind of slowed down. Maybe he'll be the deep threat on Sunday for the Steelers.
And the Senior Bowl All-Stars start arriving this weekend. The first practice set to go Tuesday afternoon, the weigh-in on Tuesday morning. The game a week from tomorrow on the NFL Network with a 1:30 kickoff.
All right, we'll take a break and be right back.
Up next on News 5, an update on a severe weather threat moving into our area. Thomas Gieboy is tracking the storms.
Want a great tan for Mardi Gras? Now you can own your own tanning bed for as little as $30 a month. Forget salon fees. Tan conveniently at home for just $30 per month. Only from Spa and Tub manufacturers, Chickasaw and Gaucher.
Best Buy on the Gulf Coast. We get it done at Chris Myers Nissan.
New Rogue, take $7,000 off MSRP. New Versa, take $5,000 off.
Exit 38 off I-10, 1 block west of Sam's Club, 8 minutes from the tunnel. Don't make a $1,000 mistake.
New Rogue, take $7,000 off. New Versa, take $5,000 off.
Credit giving you a bad time? We can help anytime. Exit 38 off I-10, 1 block west of Sam's Club, 8 minutes from the tunnel. ChrisMyersNissan.com.
Looking for cool new kids furniture at great prices? Then check out Rooms to Go Kids and Teens. We have the best selection of kids furniture anywhere because we're a furniture store just for kids. The perfect place to find tons of awesome bedroom styles, accessories, and amazing collections. Safe, fun, and functional rooms built to last. Rooms kids want at prices you want.
It's everything you want, it's let the world know. Decorating's easy at Rooms to Go.
What does a steak lover eat when they're not eating steak? How about this? Or this? Or this? Okay, that last one was steak, but how could they not? You can't fake steak. Longhorn Steakhouse. Tonight's special Longhorn favorites. Get our outlaw ribeye, the Longhorn salmon, or the Parmesan crusted chicken. And for lunch, try our steakhouse burger or any steakhouse lunch combo only at Longhorn.
At Palmer's Toyota Superstore, we make it family friendly. We make it fit. We make it rough and tough. Because Palmer's knows trucks and SUVs. Drive 2017 Tacoma double cabs for one low pay price of $11,975. $11,975. Drive new 2017 RAV4s for one low pay price of $11,715. $11,715. Palmer's Toyota Superstore, your Gulf Coast family store.
Now, how's that thing supposed to convince anyone to buy a car?
It's just full of hot air and doesn't say much.
Like the labels you see on a lot of chicken packaging.
The ones that say raised without antibiotics, that's just a trick to get you to pay more money.
Fact is, by federal law, all chickens must be clear of antibiotics before they leave the farm.
It's a marketing gimmick, like Mr. Floppy Arms here. Though I must say, he is somewhat hypnotic.
Don't fall for the hype, Dale. Dale?
Fresh, delicious chicken from Sanderson Farms.
How do you become America's best-selling brand?
Breathing, let's go.
You make it protective.
Just trying to be safe.
You make it hard-working. You make it so everyone's happy. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Now get 0% financing for 72 months on 8 of our best-selling vehicles, like F-150, Escape, Explorer, and Mustang, only at your local Ford dealer.
Today at Whataburger, we're cooking the Buffalo Ranch chicken strip sandwich.
You asked for it, and it's back.
It's crunchy, and then it's spicy, and then it's cool.
It kind of wakes me up, honestly. I could see myself getting this every time I come here.
The Buffalo Ranch chicken strip sandwich. It's back, and it's only for a limited time.
Sounds like the rough stuff may move through as we're sleeping tonight.
Well, most people are sleeping an overnight threat into tomorrow morning. That's why it's a weather alert day for not only tonight, but also into tomorrow night as well. So tonight, can't emphasize enough, have a way to stay alert, whether it be our News 5 free weather app. You can track storms on that, or on NOAA Weather Radio. Might get bumpy at times tonight, but we'll stay here. We'll be on air and also online, so stay tuned for all the latest.
All right.
All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Coming up next, an inauguration special from CBS right here on News 5.
And we'll see you tonight at 10.